Mount Shasta has a plethora of odd, strange, weird, and mysterious legends that make it one of the world's most mystical places.
Get me to the farm.
Believed by many to be one of the sacred places found on Earth and called by some the magical mountain, majestic Mount Shasta rises up from the Cascade mountain range of Northern California. Located in Siskiyou County with a height of over 14,162 feet above sea level, Shasta ranks as one of the largest dormant. Last eruption was incorrectly reported as being 1786. Strato-compound volcanoes. It's part of the Pacific Ring of Fire in the continental United States. Geologically, as a volcanic mountain, Mount Shasta is very mysterious, having 4 overlapping stratovolcanic cones, not the usual 2. Legends and mysteries abound about the ethereal aura felt and seen by some who have trekked near, around, and on the natural wonder. Native people have always held the mountain as a sacred area, and in recent decades, New Age believers see the mountain as having a mystical power that exudes peace and harmony. UFO proponents believe a secret alien base is located deep within the mountain. Recently, in 1985, the Mount Shasta ski park opened, allowing it to be a revered spot for avid snow bunnies who love swishing down the challenging, craggy, snow-covered, pitched terrain during winter. Short history of the mountain. Artifacts found on and around the mountain, especially on the north side, indicate it has been inhabited for centuries, 9,000 years at least, it's believed, by various North American native tribes. The mountains, a natural boundary cornerstone that delineated the tribal territory of many native people, including Shasta, Modoc, Wintu, Atsuigi, and Klamath. Legends indicate the ancient tribes believed Mount Shasta was the center of creation. Native American descendants of ancient tribes still carry out rituals in honor of the mountain and the spiritual power it is believed to emanate. The name Mount Shasta is said by many to be attributed to a Russian fur trapper who came back from spending time on the mountain and called the place Chachta, which means a thicket. Later, the name would evolve into Shasta and then Mount Shasta. Other historians believe the word Shasta is a modern-day derivative of the name of a Native American tribe who first called the mountain Shasta. It can be found in December 26, 1826 journal entry of Hudson Bay Company Fur Brigade leader Peter Skane Ogden. New Age vision of the mountain. Today, over 100 New Age sects and religious groups regard the mountain as a sacred source of mystical power, which can lead people to harmony and peace. Mount Shasta has been identified by many of these sects as being a cosmic power point, a UFO landing spot, or even an entry point into the 5th dimension, or parallel Earth. But the mountain has been a focal point for religious and spiritual fringe sects for many decades. In 1884, writer and seeker Frederick Oliver wrote the book A Dweller on Two Planets that told of underground tunnels and elaborate halls where the descendants of the Atlanteans lived. According to legend, J.C. Brown was a British prospector who discovered the lost underground city beneath Mount Shasta in 1904. Brown had been hired by the Lord Cowdray Mining Company of England to prospect for gold and discovered a cave which sloped downward for 11 miles. In the cave, he found an underground village filled with gold, shields, and mummies, some being up to 10 feet tall. 30 years later, when he told his story to John C. Root, who proceeded to gather an exploration team in Stockton, California. More than 80 people joined the team, but the day the team was to set out, Brown did not show up and was never heard from again. In 1930, Guy Ballard, the founder of the I Am movement, stated that he met Ascended Master Saint Germain on the snowy slopes of Mount Shasta. The Ascended Masters are supposed to be extremely evolved spiritual beings that in the deep earth city Lemurians call Telos. The Rosicrucians in 1932 spread the belief that Mount Shasta is the place the Lemurians came to when their island was destroyed by a volcanic activity. Many believe their remnant still lives deep within the sacred mountain even today, partially because Mount Shasta is considered one of the 7 sacred mountains of the world. It became the site for holy temples, sanctuaries, and other religious sacred places of meditation. A Buddhist monastery was built on Mount Shasta in 1971 by Juan Jin Kennett. Then in 1987, Mount Shasta was the place where the harmonic convergence was supposed to occur. This is the focal point of positive power energy rays coming together in order to prevent world crisis and bring world peace to humanity. Weird and unusual mysteries of Mount Shasta. In 1931, a voracious forest fire swept across Mount Shasta, only to be stopped from advancing by a mysterious fog that arose from nowhere. Interestingly, the unusual fog created a fire line demarcation of the charred damage. It was a curve in direct correlation to the central time zone line. Many Bigfoot sightings have been reported on Mount Shasta and is believed to be the hiding place, home of these perhaps mythical creatures. It is also said to be a UFO refueling base. Many strange pulsating lights and squadrons of dancing lights have been reported over the past 50 decades by some very credible witnesses. The Hopi Native Americans have legends of a vast network of caves and a city under Mount Shasta where reptilian creatures live. A strange true story of a 3-year-old child that was lost in Shasta Forest for 5 hours is just one of many strange things that have happened. He was gone within a second, according to witnesses. Other campers were thought responsible and questioned, but later that day the boy reappeared and told a story not of this earth. He claimed he was abducted by a robot double of his grandmother and taken to a cave filled with spiders. The region surrounding Mount Shasta does contain thousands of caves, the vast majority of which have never been explored. Sometimes people claim to venture into these subterranean regions voluntarily, and other times not so voluntarily. In fact, stories like this extend even further back into history, into Native American tribes who have inhabited this region for thousands of years. They talk of being able to travel underground tunnels between southern Oregon, Mount Shasta, and the upper coasts of California and southern Oregon. Some tribes have admitted that locations and entrances of these tunnels are a closely guarded secret, which has never been shared with the outside world. Coincidentally, 2 more bizarre incidents happened around Mount Shasta during the time period of the boy's disappearance in 2011. The same month, in September, a Los Angeles area man hiking the Pacific Crest Trail heard a beautiful singing of a female voice coming from the direction of Mount Shasta and wandered off the trail to follow it, becoming lost in the woods. He claims he was abducted and taken to a dark chamber in a cave, stripped of all of clothing. A tall female with unnatural blue eyes and strange clothing appeared and gave him a gift and secret information. He was reportedly lost for several weeks, and after surviving this ordeal, the person now believes he is the incarnation of the messianic Hindu god and has changed his name to Lord Kalki. Another Los Angeles area man was with a spiritual group of friends meditating up on the mountain on 11/11/2011 and decided to take off his shoes and hike up to the top of the mountain to place a rock on the summit. A storm blew in, delaying search efforts, and his body was found the next day at 9,600 feet. New Age believers see Mount Shasta as one of the Earth's main spiritual energy vortices. It's a place of strange fog and clouds that appear and disappear within moments, not hours of human time, leaving people amazed and in awe. Spiritual retreats to the mountain energize many visitors, especially seekers open to experiencing synergistic, transrational adventures. Some even believe it is the place of angel gatherings. Many people living around Mount Shasta tell tales of tall, robed humanoid people who appear from time to time in the small towns. They come to barter or gather certain things from various merchants and then vanish into the thick brush of the mountain. Another legend tells of groups called Yaktavians, who are reported to be great bell makers. Through their use of sound and vibration, they can manipulate many aspects of life and dimensions of sensory perception. Other stories tell of dwarf-like creatures that have been seen quite often since the 1930s by people picnicking and hiking on the mountain. Mount Shasta has a plethora of odd, strange, weird, and mysterious legends that make it one of the world's most mystical places. If only a small percentage of the stories are rooted in fact and have verifiable evidence which makes it plausible, what a remarkable finding that would be.
New York City, get me to the farm.